In cybersecurity, said layoffs are minimum.
So you did a test with AI to detect if this is phishing attempt or not?
Yeah.
That AI model failed?
AI model failed and the humans also failed.
A popular company called Wiz was almost acquired by Google for $23 billion and Wiz rejected it. Instead, they went public. In the cloud systems of entire hotel of Las Vegas, I deployed a ransomware no one could access and the whole hotel is now managing with paper.
Or they have all these info. They can try to create a new bank account in your name, create a new loan in your name.
You cannot be 100% secure, ever. Why?
Real security is trusting no one.
So hello everyone, a world after AI looks like this chart. Jab COVID mein, the hiring was really high for all the jobs. Software engineering hiring was the highest. Other industries were lower. But now this is the world where hiring has increased, but software engineering hiring has increased the least. So that's why today we have cybersecurity engineer who will be telling us to take advantage of this new hiring season, which is not going to be heavily on software engineering, but on other fields like AI engineering, cybersecurity engineering, because this era AI is accelerating really fast and cybersecurity is catching up slowly. So hi Apurv, can you please introduce again?
Sure, Arnold. First of all, thank you so much for having me. As he said, my name is Apurv. This is my, I think, second or third time I've been here.
Fourth time probably.
Oh, fourth time, yeah. Just a quick introduction. I'm from Varanasi, UP. I've been working in cybersecurity, I think, for like 8 years at this point.
Wow.
So it has been a long journey. Currently, I work as a senior threat research analyst at Cyber. Basic work is there is a concept, there is a field, cyber threat intel, and I work in that specifically towards cybercrime threat intelligence. So we monitor for cybercrime, we protect our customers from any type of breaches. If there are any breaches, we inform the customers. So all those things. It's really good work, especially cyber threat intelligence. I've been working into cyber threat intelligence, and now with the advent of AI, obviously AI is helping, or AI plus cybersecurity or plus security is really booming. So AI is helping each and every field of cybersecurity, and it also helps cyber threat intelligence. So we will definitely talk about AI a lot in this.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, I want to add on again, I have worked for the same cybersecurity intel as well. Of course, I'm not nowhere experienced in cybersecurity as he is. First of all, I want to ask about hiring season. So we see the wave is rising. How much hiring you see in cybersecurity these days? Because the layoffs is minimum in cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's true. So in cybersecurity, as you said, layoffs are minimum. There's still layoffs, obviously, like every IT industry is impacted by the layoffs. But cybersecurity, because you go anywhere, cybersecurity or security is needed, right? Whether even with AI, AI needs security. So any new kind of technology that comes into the play, any new technology, even quantum computing is coming, right?
Yeah,
security,
quantum.
Yeah. So security will be needed in that. So that's why cybersecurity is job opportunities. They're it is increasing day by day. So it's not growing down, or it's growing up. It's just layoffs are happening because people are not able to get on with the new technology. People are not able to get on with AI, especially because a lot of companies, they are looking for, even in cybersecurity, they are looking for people who know how to use AI, how to use LLM models, because at the end of the day, it is saving a lot of time, right? Which is one of the aspects of AI, how you can involve it into your work. So
जिन्होंने AI नहीं सीखा उनको ज़्यादा lay off हो रहे हैं, ऐसा है?
Most likely, yeah. Whatever I've heard in my field, especially in cyber threat intelligence, it's mostly yes. Who are not able to keep up with the technology, they are getting laid off. And also the other part is big companies, they are restructuring, reorganization happens. Some companies buys out some other company, and then their positions are not there. So then they are laid off. So it's mostly that.
Interesting. So first of all, let's break down the world with AI and security.
Yeah.
So currently there are more deepfakes being made. Many times people are not able to differentiate. For example, there's a popular deepfake of Bill Gates, which is popular.
Yeah.
He says that I've named Microsoft because of some like completely wrong reason, which is viral. And especially in the world after AI, the phishing cases have increased by 60%. Deepfake, aap bata nahi pa rahe, you cannot differentiate some videos on the internet, which is real, which is fake. And on top of that, even 61% of cloud platforms are prone to some sort of security issue. We'll break down AWS, Azure later. But first of all, can you tell me how you are catching up, how your industry is catching up?
Definitely. So, I mean, as you said deepfake, then phishing, then cloud, which we'll talk about later. The thing is, like all these are different things, right? Like deepfake is different. You have different security measures for detecting deepfakes. Phishing, again, different security measures for detecting phishing. But as you said, like with AI, it's very easy now for cyber attackers or cyber threat actors, we call it, to create phishing emails, to create these deepfake videos. So because of how easy it is, that's why you see it large numbers. Like as you said, 60% of the phishing, like there have been 60% cases of phishing, right? So, and within that 60%, most of them are using AI. Like most of the phishing emails that have been created now, they are using AI. Like people use LLM models, ChatGPT, Claude, etc., to create phishing emails, and those are really good. I think I read a research a few days ago. They said like it was a study, so they took 10 people, and then they had one LLM model. They both tested of detecting, or they both tested whether a particular phishing email can be detected or not, and for both of them the answers were same. Like for normal human also, they were not able to say whether this particular phishing email correct or a phishing email, and AI systems itself, they were not able to recognize it.
Really?
Yeah.
So you did a test with AI to detect if this is phishing or a phishing attempt or not?
Yeah.
That AI model failed.
AI model failed and the humans also failed. They both gave same results. So
Oh my
you
God.
can understand with that. And this was a small study. So obviously, if you include other like bigger, like this was just 10 folks, right? If you include more, it might result in something else. But still, like even with this small study, you can see, right? Like phishing emails have been so trustable, I would say, that it's very difficult to detect whether it's a phishing or a real email.
Oh, but how is phishing different now versus before? At the end of the day, koi story bana ke, like you just have to make the person click, right?
So it's not the clicking part, it's the story, like how well you have written the story. That's why people click, right? Like
Yeah.
how well you are targeting someone. So with AI, writing part is very easy now.
Yeah.
So this writing, this creating story part, that is like that's AI. AI is helping there.
Correct. And at the same time, like people have figured out to use unsubscribe button for phishing attempts to take something. You know, the chances of someone getting attacked by phishing is 10x higher.
Yeah,
Of course.
definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. So if like LLMs are not able to detect, how would you automate then? You need manual labor? Like
I mean, like at the end of the day, you can't just rely on one thing, right? Like you can't just rely on humans, you can't just rely on LLMs. That's where like combining both comes into the play. Same as if you go like in software engineering, right? You can't rely only on scripts. You have to involve actual person to go through the code to understand or to check logs, like what is happening. Same with LLMs. Like once you, like let's say you created or we created LLM scripts for detecting phishing emails, right? Like once you see what they are detecting, whether they are false positives or not, and then you keep improving the code or keep improving the LLMs in this case. So that's how you do, like human plus LLM both comes into the picture and work hand by or work like hand by hand. Yeah.
okay, we'll come to cloud later. Now, how deepfake is like being protected using security?
So on terms of deepfake, again, deepfakes are very easy to create. Like you must have seen multiple apps now. You pay them, you can create deepfake videos.
Some don't even have watermark.
Oh yeah, some don't even have watermarks. So detecting deepfake is little complex. Like you have to again, you are using LLM only to detect the deepfakes itself. So you have to look at multiple features, like how the video frames are changing. If there is a person, or I mean obviously deepfake, it is a person. So how their facial features are changing from one frame to different frame. So that is just one of the methods of detecting. Like if their facial, like let's for example, if I am talking like this and I change my face here, but my ears are not reflecting this side. My ears are like just this side. So that is just one way of detecting, or one form of detecting deepfakes. But yeah,
lip
it
sync
is
too.
complex.
Lip
Oh yeah,
sync.
lip sync too. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Amazing. यार ये सब तो ठीक है, but in the future this is going to get even worse.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity detection methods will break. How do you see future of cybersecurity with AI?
So I mean, in terms of breaking, detection breaking, that happens every day, right? Even with AI or without AI, like there will be a point, or there is a point where your detections will not work for any new vulnerabilities that arise, or any new attack methods, like we call it tactics or techniques. So if if a cyber threat actor employs a new attack method which no one has ever seen, then your detection will not work, right? Like you have to write a new detection. So same with AI. Like if you are like even using AI, if you are writing detections, if you are looking for any anomalies, there will be a time where the AI will not be able to detect it. But so far, it has been detecting a lot. I don't know if you saw, Google created a model which can detect 0 days itself, and they were able to detect, I think, 3 new 0 day vulnerabilities just using LLM.
Wow.
So, like LLMs are becoming stronger, I would say. In this case, they're able to detect anomalies or patterns very easily. So, I mean, like 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, it will be stronger. Like it will be able to detect it easily. But again, after 5 years or 10 years, also there will be a time where it will miss something, right? I mean, that's a game, right? Like it's a cat and mouse.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah,
Yes.
cat and mouse thing.
But right now, Google, all these big tech companies are researching very well to
Yeah.
catch up.
Yeah, correctly. Like Google, Microsoft, all these, they have created their AI. I think Microsoft had their security co-pilot. So they are creating for even for endpoint devices. They are creating these services, tools, so that people can protect using AI. They can protect, like they can identify anomalies, they can identify patterns that should not be there.
Got it. Now, moving into the world with cloud, a cloud system is 61% more prone to cybersecurity threat at all times. Like, for example, Snowflake is one of the biggest cloud provider. It is more than 90% deployed on AWS, which is the biggest cloud provider in the world. So, दूसरे cloud providers, they're using the traditional cloud providers because they are so good. AWS has the most services, then Microsoft Azure, then after that, it's Google's GCP.
Yeah, GCP. Yeah.
So these cloud platforms are so good, but they're attacked so often at all times. They have one of the best detection mechanism where AI is used. If there's an attack, if there's a wrong request, it automatically solved. So how people are building these systems that people can get inspired and implement in cybersecurity workflows?
That's a good question. So there are two things. I will break it down. One is the security by cloud providers itself. So like by GCP, by AWS, like all the security mechanisms that they have on their systems. And the other is end users, like security by end users, right? Like what they have to do, what all configurations they have to do to prevent or to make their systems or to make their servers stronger. So there are two cases, like security on both ends.
Client and server, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, client as in like end users, and then server as in like the company itself, right? In this case, so security has to happen on both ends. All the news that you see of breaches, even like with AWS, it's very common, right? Like breaches, your security keys leaking. All this is happening on the end user side. So, like AWS itself is very secure, but because there are so many options, like so many features of AWS, that you have to secure it. Like let's, for example, if I buy a server from AWS, there are so many steps that I have to take to secure it, to harden it, we call it, like hardening your server. So you have to take those steps. If you're not taking those steps, then you are basically exposing your server, right? You must have heard about misconfigured AWS buckets. So that is like people don't configure it properly, and that's why like you can easily search through it. Like we usually do that, threat actors usually do that. They go on and search, similar to how you search internet and you find vulnerabilities or open ports. Similar to that, you search on different cloud providers and try to see if there are any exposed buckets or not. If there are exposed buckets, then you already see their data, right? So this is end user case.
Yeah, sometimes what happens is there's a VM or EC2 instance, a virtual machine on AWS. People put the private key on GitHub, and if it's still in the GitHub history. So that is one of the biggest reasons On client side, a user side, security can fail for cloud provider.
Yep.
But what about cloud providers?
So on the cloud provider side, they usually, like with AWS, they have been in the business for a long time. So like their security is really good, but still they are attacked like most of the time.
All day they are attacked. I saw that if there are times in 1 minute, 1,000+ security incidents happen at AWS, and they are automatically resolved.
They are automated. So this is the thing, like they have created their system so good that like they don't have to use manual, like humans, to go through the logs. Their automated system itself can take care of it. I think with Cloudflare, like they also use all these same security mechanisms. So their automated security mechanisms are really good, that again, whatever attack happens, like for example, they get DDoS, right? Whatever attack happens, it gets broken down. So for example, if they're getting DDoS, they are breaking down into different servers, different locations, and then they check logs. Again, all this is automated, like no humans are involved in this. So because they have been in this space, like AWS, GCP, they have been in this space for a long time, that they are able to use it. Like they are able to employ these type of automated security mechanisms.
Basically, it's kind of like an AI agent for security that they have built.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I don't know if definitely they are using AI, most likely. But even before AI, they had these systems. It was just not that good. Like with the employment of AI in this case, because finding anomalies is very easy, right? With AI, like AI can, like if I just talk about numbers, right? You are going through 1 TB of logs. AI can go through it very easily than normal a team of researchers or analysts. So that's why it's very, like, I would not say it's very easy. It's easier than before detecting these things.
You brought the point of Cloudflare, right? So there are so many security providers. Cloudflare stock has risen a lot. It's one of the biggest after top 3. It is rising star among new developers. And the website slow load hote hai, we see that Cloudflare
checkbox.
Yeah. So what is the role of Cloudflare to play here?
So Cloudflare, like since Cloudflare came into the picture, the thing is, like whenever, let's say you host a website, your website is getting popular, there are threat actors that will try to DDoS you. DDoS basically is distributed denial of service or denial of service. If I'm just talking about DOS, what this is, let's say you have a website of an e-commerce website, for example. So, or even just simple example, you have a blog, like you are releasing product reviews, right? Any new phone comes, like new iPhone came, you are releasing product reviews on that, and your blog is read by a lot of people. Now, if a threat actor sees that, okay, this person is getting popular and this particular blog is getting popular, they may try to DDoS it so others cannot access the blog. Now, where Cloudflare comes into the picture, because Cloudflare systems are so vast, you can use Cloudflare's protection and use Cloudflare on top of your web server. So whenever someone DDoSes it like the traffic doesn't reach your server. It goes to Cloudflare server first. And because Cloudflare is so vast, they have so many automated methods. So it's just like the DDoS, let's say they are sending you 1 TB of packets or traffic. The DDoS, Cloudflare itself, it just distributes it. So your website never gets affected. So that is where Cloudflare comes into the play. Like they're like, because they have been like, they have created these servers all across the globe, and their method, like security mechanisms, is like distributing all the attacks or all the traffic that is coming. That's why your server is protected. So that is where.
So can you break down distributed denial of server attack? So is it like, opening the website with AI agent thousands of times? So there are like so many packets sent to the website that it gets overwhelmed, and it then DOS.
So it is one of the, it's not, what distribute, so basically let's break it down from denial of service. What denial of service is, you have one machine, you are sending multiple packets to one particular server, right? What distributed here means, you have multiple machines. Let's say you have thousands of machines on your end, and you are sending that packet, same packet, to the server from thousands of machines. So on each machine, you are sending 100 packets, multiply that with 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So you understand, right, where this goes. And this is what distributed denial of service. And nowadays people use multiple ways, like obviously AI agents, using agents, like you see nowadays, like agents are really popular, right, among AI or LLMs. So creating AI agents and asking them to do this thing is very easy now. But before also there were scripts that you can like, I mean, it is you are buying servers, or threat actors, how they usually do is they infect other people, and from their server or from their computer or systems, they try to DDoS.
Wow.
So that is how DDoS works.
Okay, now in the world of cybersecurity, the top 10 companies people want to work is number one, Cloudflare, उसके बाद Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike.
Yeah.
Can you name some companies and what moat they have in the world of cybersecurity?
So, I mean, there are multiple companies out there, right? Like Cloudflare, you said Cloudflare, Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, there's Recorded Future, Google itself, Google, Microsoft, they all have their cybersecurity research, cybersecurity plus AI research facilities or teams, right? So there are multiple companies people want to work in. Like if you talk just about cyber threat intelligence, so all the top companies like CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, all these will be doing cyber threat intelligence work, right? Even Google does cyber threat intelligence work. So all these big companies do. If you talk about red teaming, for example, then there are different sets. Like Google itself does red teaming, but there are other bigger companies also that do red teaming. So I mean, there are multiple examples. I mean, there are so many companies that you can't just name like top 10 for cybersecurity, because there are in cybersecurity itself there are multiple different areas. But yeah, I mean, again, as I said, like if I just talk about like if you want me to name just top companies where anyone can work for cybersecurity plus AI, it will be Google, Microsoft, CrowdStrike, I guess. I mean, Cloudflare, AWS, all these, they are doing these research, so you can work there also. But I mean, yeah, I can't name just companies out there.
They all have big teams.
They all have they all are doing same, or they all are doing similar kind of research. They all have big teams, so any team or any company is good.
Okay,
in
but
this case.
but special security related companies like CrowdStrike and Cloudflare, what moat they have? Like they target different security problems, especially Palo Alto Networks as well.
So in terms of what they target or what they for example, Palo Alto Networks, they usually have their networking security software or tools, right? Same as CrowdStrike, they have endpoint protection tools. What endpoint protection is, like basically you are protecting endpoints, and they have their agents running on the endpoints. For example, in terms of Palo Alto is protecting networks. So if you are using Palo Alto in your enterprise, you are putting it on a centralized network, and then from there their agents are on different networks to protect that networks, find any anomalies that they may see, find any exfiltration, any kind of attacks that they see. So difference between Palo Alto and CrowdStrike is this. Same as Google, right? I mean, Google and Microsoft, they are in everything, right? You can't just, they are in threat intel, they are in red teaming, they are in nation security, they are in everything. So and for example, Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is not ideally a security company, but they are still, I mean, in terms of DDoS and other, they are protecting users, right? So they are in this case, they are protecting users from malicious traffic
By detecting.
traffic. Yeah, obviously by detecting. I mean, all the like detection will play a role in all of these companies. So at the end of the day, you are detecting and preventing, right?
So prevention is by engineers mainly, but detection can be done through Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike, etc.
Yeah.
So now a popular company called Wiz was almost acquired by Google for $23 billion, and Wiz rejected it. Instead, they went public. So what is the role in cloud security that Wiz was so valuable?
I mean, I think like their research was really good. Like I usually read research reports by different companies, and especially their research reports, like cloud threat landscape research reports, were really good. So their researchers had value. Like they were in any kind of cloud security related news, techniques, any new attacks on clouds, they were writing about it and researching about it. So I think that's why, like because of their really good research, they came to the top of like if you say about who is the first company that comes into your mind for cloud security, that would be Wiz, because they have done all kinds of research. So yeah,
and now they are public. They have a moat that they can give services to all three cloud providers and can be more valuable than just with Google.
Yeah. I mean, like acquisition mergers, like these things happen. Like there are people sitting on the top deciding all these things. So for us as researchers or analysts, we don't think a lot about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, now they can, like, if they had gone with cloud, gone with Google, maybe they could have just protected GCP. But now they can do Amazon, GCP, and Windows also.
Amazing. Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft. Yeah.
Amazing. अभी अगर हम बात करें SaaS apps के बारे में, so SaaS apps, ignoring the AI agents that SaaS is dead, AI agents will replace SaaS. But if you ignore that fact as well, which is kind of clickbait, SaaS attack surface, what I read was it's growing at 200 apps per month per 100 users. Basically, one employee cannot handle that huge attack surface.
Yeah.
It is that big. So what companies are deploying on SaaS side of side? Let's say I am not a cloud provider. have a SaaS company. What security threats I am prone to and how I can be safe?
So, I mean, there are multiple things here. Like every other company is using some kind of SaaS application, right? I mean, that's why there's big attack surface, because there are so many companies using SaaS applications. Even within a company, multiple employees are using different SaaS applications. If I just talk about AI related applications, there are so many SaaS based AI applications that people are using within their company. So, I mean, if you just talk about ChatGPT, it is a SaaS, right? Like, you are going to a website, you are accessing it. So attack surface management comes into the play there also. So in terms of like how companies are trying to protect it, it's like the first point would be like, if you're a company, if you are if like you are using multiple SaaS application, if you have a SaaS application or your employees are using, like, make a note of like how many SaaS applications are being used. So it's kind of like, we call it like making an inventory. Like, at the end of the day, you have to create a threat model, right? Like, where you can be attacked on, what all different surfaces or what all different applications can be attacked. Once you have that inventory, then you think about, okay, is there any vulnerability for one particular SaaS application? Even if you have SaaS application, you are definitely running vulnerability analysis every time, right? So you have to do the same with other SaaS applications that is being used by your employees, by your company, and same with any other company, right? Like, if you have a SaaS application, securing a SaaS application is, you have to, like, first of all, it is like using a username, password. You are accessing those applications using username or some kind of credentials, right? So you have to see, like, are those credentials safe? Are those credentials new? Whether like, if one particular user is accessing that and their computer is infected, can someone else access the same SaaS application using their credentials? So all those things comes into the mind.
And big tech companies use hundreds of applications with like one username password. So that's why restricting access is very important.
Yep.
So that if one credential is confiscated, your 200 or thousands of apps are not exposed. So that's why attack surface has increased a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, as I said, like, managing credentials, how you are able to access that SaaS application using certificates. I think a lot of companies usually employ certificates to access certain SaaS applications. So you can only access if you have that certificate, which is more secure than just accessing it using a username, password, or 2FA. So yeah, I mean, there are again multiple methods of securing a SaaS application. Inventorying and then looking for any vulnerabilities is just one of the way, and also looking if that particular user is compromised or not, or how many users have been compromised in this case.
Credentials say, what comes into my mind is the most common attack for SaaS is identity attack, like faking identity. Like, for example, MGM in Vegas हुआ था, like someone faked the identity of an employee and called, oh, this is Apurv Singh Gautam talking and like, I forgot my username password. They resetted my password and I got the email password. Now I actually, in the cloud systems of entire hotel of Las Vegas, I deployed a ransomware no one could access, and the whole hotel is now managing with paper. People cannot access their rooms, keys broke, everything. You know that, right?
Yeah. So
this is how it happened.
So funny
this is an identity attack.
So funny thing is, I was there when this attack happened on MGM and other Caesars and etc. I could see, like, people were not able to use their key cards. All the slot machines that there was an error message in the middle. So what basically happened, as you said before that, identity attacks is a big thing. How threat actors approach this is social engineering and phishing, right? Or phishing is a part of social engineering. So what basically social engineering is, you try to dupe a particular person or entity into doing things that they're not supposed to do. Like, for example, in case of phishing, you convince them to click on that link, right? So social engineering is like a combination of phishing, wishing, which is like same phishing but using phone. So you're calling someone and then doing that. So it's that.
So basically, you were there, and identity attack can be easily faked now with AI. So
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, with AI, so first of all, identity attacks is most of the time that these threat actors do try to dupe you, try to convince someone that you are someone else, is using, there is a concept called stealers or stealer logs. So people usually get, let's say, for example, you have a laptop, right? You're using it and you get compromised by that stealer. So all the logs or everything on your computer gets exfiltrated to the threat actor. Now they have your name, they have your address, they have all the password that you have been using, they have your cookies. So they can access, like, let's say, for example, you have facebook.com. If they have cookies of facebook.com, they can log in to your facebook.com using these cookies. So this is where identity theft happens, right? They have every info about you. So, like, for example, now they have some info like name, address, phone number, your age, etc. Now they can call your bank, and then, like, the verification thing that they do, the banks, like when you call banks, they do verification, they already have those answers, right? Like they have your phone number, they have your address, date of birth, etc. So they have all this, or they have all these info. They can try to, like, create a new bank account in your name, create a new loan in your name. So this is just one part of, like, what identity thefts lead to. The other part is obviously accessing those applications, right? Like, which you see in this case MGM, right? They were able to compromise one support engineer using just phone, which is called phishing. And from there, because they were able to compromise this one person, they were able to get access to other machines, and then we know what happened.
exactly. And similar such expensive attack is what happened in United Healthcare, $2.87 billion, because it didn't not just costed, the data of customers, because data of healthcare customers is very expensive, but also costed credit cards, personal information of customers, what kind of problems they have, what kind of prescriptions they have. This is most expensive. Another cybersecurity attacks which are common in the US are like the payment system where you swipe your credit card. That data, which has all the credit cards data center. वो याद है वो Russian hacker, the US was smart enough to bring that Russian hacker in the team of cybersecurity engineers in the US. That was a big story. But yeah, these are one of the biggest, and billions of dollars are lost in these attacks. MGM was like, a few $1,000s, but this is like billions. So healthcare mein, how security is important.
I think in terms of this United Healthcare, this was a, I think, ransomware attack. And I think the most expensive attacks at this point they are ransomware attacks. So ransomware attacks, they, like, billions are lost in ransomware attacks, or paying ransomware operators once you are attacked. So they attack, like, they attack healthcare, they attack hospitals, they attack schools. It's really bad. Like, from a logical perspective, from ethical perspective, it's really bad. Like, you are attacking an hospital, right? I mean, what worse can then there be from like, I've seen once hospitals get attacked, or there have been news like their systems stop working, like all their healthcare devices, a lot of their healthcare devices are connected to internet and they stop working. So it's really bad. So same with United Healthcare, they were attacked by ransomware and then all their data was leaked online. I mean, how you protect against it is, like, it's very difficult to say. Like, ransomware operators, they are investing similar to our company invest. They have a proper company, they have multiple employees within that, and they are investing a lot in research.
United Healthcare is, right?
No, it's ransomware operators.
Ransomware operators,
like threat actors. Threat actors investing, like, in their team, they are investing a lot, like, for finding new vulnerabilities so they can attack on. So that's why, like, what we as defenders, we also have to invest, and anyway, we are doing it. So, like, companies are investing a lot in their security team, but always this mindset should be there. Like, threat actors are doing the same thing. Like, they are working hard to find loopholes in your system and then attack. So that is only way, like, research and trying to be ahead, one step ahead of them every time, which is very hard. It's just easier said than done. But yeah.
So in this case, you not just have to like keep your system, protected against ransomware. You have to keep an eye on researchers who are threat actors researching in better ways of sending ransomware to healthcare devices. So you have to catch up with them every single time and keep on doing research.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, it's like my work, one of my work is trying to see what is happening in the threat actor landscape, right? That is just one work of cyber threat intel analysts. So we usually look for, okay, what threat actors are talking about. Are they talking about any new attack methodologies? Which sector they are more interested in? Whether they are interested in banking sector or education or healthcare, right? So all these things, usually we as like threat intel analyst researchers or cybercrime researchers, we usually do this. So that is where like there are blogs out there. Like if you're a United Healthcare team, right? If you're their security team, what you will do is you will ideally look out for any kind of threats related to healthcare or related to insurance companies, right? So you will look out for these threats out there and then create detections based on that. Let's say you saw, so for example, just United Healthcare got breached. If you're some other healthcare company, or in this case, insurance company, you saw that, okay, United Healthcare got breached. Now you know which threat actor breached them or which ransomware operator breached them, right, or attacked them. You know how they operate as a other company, so you employ those detection methods so you are not attacked.
Okay, so you do red teaming and blue teaming with it.
I mean, yeah, it is just one
One
aspect of it, but yeah, like you try to see how they attacked it, and then you create detection rules if they are not already created. You create those detection rules, or your blue teaming team create those detection rule, and then protect your company.
And it's say like the principle in security, which is very popular, is you cannot be 100% secure ever. Why?
I mean, it's like saying you are driving a car, and even though, however futuristic car you have, like you can never say that, okay, I will never get into an accident, right? It's, I mean, not entirely a good example here, but still, like you can never be 100% safe. Most, like whoever thinks they're 100% safe, they are wrong.
It's attack surface, some attack surface, because there are 200 SaaS applications.
I mean, yes, there are
so many things.
There are so many things, like
Surface
so
area
many
is so
applications.
high.
Yeah, correct. Like there are, I mean, like I took the example of car, right? Like car has so many mechanical parts in that anything can break, right? Same, you convert that same thing into software or different applications. There's so many scripts, so many applications within that application, so many scripts running in the backend that anything can break. So yeah,
That's true. Awesome. Now, how can people get started in the world of AI plus security?
I think, I mean, in terms of starting it, definitely, like if you are already in security, so there are two ways, whether you are already in security or whether you are already in AI, and then you are converging, right, which is AI plus security. So for someone who is already in cybersecurity, and you are getting into AI or trying to learn about AI, just start with like creating small applications, right? Like I usually do in my free time, I create, like for me, cyber threat intelligence, I usually create different RAG applications. So one example of that is, and this is all using code, right? Because I like code, but you can do using agents also, like you don't have to code anything. But in my case, I like coding, so that's why I usually do using code. Like I create RAG applications. One example is I take all the threat reports, put it into or basically train the model, and then using RAG, I try to extract information from that. So that is just one example, right? And there are multiple examples. So slowly you try to learn about this. Another thing is I try to always be up to date with any kind of AI news. So I follow usually different newsletters, different AI newsletters, so I can be up to date whether there is any new tool announced, new applications announced, any new API announced. Because again, I usually do using code, so I usually look for these APIs. But this is the way. Like if you are in security, to learn about AI, you actually practically you have to do that to learn about AI. Like just, I mean, if you have ChatGPT, just create a new application. Just try to learn about how you can use AI in your day-to-day work. Like I usually use AI in my day-to-day work by, like example I said, creating that RAG and asking questions to it. So my 20 to 30% of work time gets reduced.
Uh,
On the other side, if you are into AI and getting into security, which again, I mean, AI itself is very booming field, but let's say if you want to get into security, then you usually do the same thing, but on the security side, you read about new security applications, you read about new security tactics, techniques, whatever new things are happening, you read you read newsletters on security. So this is, and then you obviously do projects in security, right? That is where you learn. So, yeah.
Excellent. So basically, right now, in any field, learning AI is must.
Yeah.
And the RAB application you mentioned is basically like creating a vector database using JSON or Postgres. You can like vectorize the database and magically just makes it chattable. You can chat with the
Yeah,
data. That's
correct.
very simple. People people shouldn't think it's really hard. It's
I mean,
it's straightforward.
definitely. I'm like not going deep into what vectorization is. It's just like you are taking few documents and vectorizing it. I mean, again, you can read about vectorization. You vectorize it and then you basically ask questions to it. That's the only thing you're doing.
So straightforward. Yeah. So now, but if someone wants to from scratch start with cybersecurity, if you can give a roadmap. So number one roadmap is definitely in the world with AI, you have to, your resume will be reviewed by AI. You
Yeah.
have to have a customized cybersecurity little resume. So to build that profile, if you have to build 3 to 4 projects in your portfolio as a cybersecurity engineer, what would you say? What tools would you use if you can give that roadmap?
So that is really a broad question because again, as I said, cybersecurity itself has multiple fields, right? Like if you're going for red teaming, if you're going for threat intel, if you're going for malware analysis, so there are if you're going for forensics, like there are multiple fields and some part of it is interchangeable. So like for red teaming, if you are into red teaming, you can get into blue teaming also because you already know how attacks work, right? So it will be relatively easy for you to get into blue team because you already have that knowledge. Like if someone is starting new, first of all decide where you want to go. I know it's like difficult to say, right? Like you don't know, you are not in there, you don't know what you will like. That's why there are so many online training platforms, right? Free or paid, both. So you can explore that, like whether you like red teaming, whether you like pen testing within red teaming, whether you like pen testing, whether you like securing cloud. So cloud security, if you like, you go through that. And again, there are online labs on, as I said, like free or paid training and labs, so you can do these things practically and understand if you like it or not. If you don't like it, don't go towards it. Like I, since the start itself, I got into threat intelligence. I loved it and I stick to it, right? Like I did a lot of labs, CTFs, etc., and I really liked it. That's why I'm here. So same way, if someone likes red teaming, right? Like you start with pen testing, you like pen testing, and you move towards red teaming, so like broader portion of red teaming. So if you like it, just stick to it and go. I mean, that's why I said like there's no one way of getting into security. There are multiple ways, and these are just the technical things I talked about. There is like separate privacy and policy side things where you require you have to know laws related to security for different countries and so on. So it's like it's all relative to which domain you are trying to get into.
Excellent. I think one simple way people recommend software engineers to get started with cybersecurity is with load gen. Load gen is basically the idea of doing penetration testing, which you said, which is basically chaining the test mechanism over and over again so that one side is mostly 100%, close to 100% secure. For example, let's say you're testing an LLM, like you can test prompt injection, that all the HTML possible prompt injection you can put in a loop all the ways, and then keep on testing and then deploy on multiple LLMs and see if one LLM is breaching. So a lot of researchers do that. They make a automated test. It can be called automated test, or it can be called load gen. It can be called like penetration testing. Make it, see if you found one vulnerability in one LLM and automate it in all LLMs, make a paper, publish it, write a blog, and this can be a cool project.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. Like if I just talk about, if you're coming from software engineering, you already have a lot of skills to come into, like coding is a big one, right? Like if you know how to code, if you know how to script, and you, like as a software engineer, you know how the product roadmap works, right? Or like how a simple product from 0 to 10 is created, you already are way ahead of everyone else who is just starting into security. So that's why you see like people with 3 years, 4 years experience in software engineering, they excel at cybersecurity once they switch.
I see.
So yeah,
So it's just that figure out what you want to get into, make some make some automated test cases in it, make a project, publish blogs, write papers, write on LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you can write, and then show your work.
yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to put yourself out there. That is the main thing. Like in today's world, if you're not putting yourself out there, no one knows, right, what you do. That's why that is the reason we do so many projects. Like once you are sitting in the interview, like in front of the interviewer, you have to demonstrate him that you have done these projects. Now, like easier way is to like just show them, oh, I've written these blog, or I have these many codes on GitHub, right? So, or I have these posts on LinkedIn. You can see I've done these things, right?
I see. So can you share how do you put your work out, like on LinkedIn, Substack?
So I usually do it on LinkedIn. Like if I'm just doing some coding projects, I usually put it on GitHub and then put a post on LinkedIn. If it is some blog out there, so I usually write blog on whatever platform. Like usually I have my own website, so I put blog articles on there. But if I am writing blog for some other company, I usually write blog there and then post it on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn usually, I mean, I use Twitter and LinkedIn both, but LinkedIn is the more preferred one for me, especially.
Awesome. So anyone watching, if they want to check out projects of Apurv, they can check out on his LinkedIn.
Yeah, definitely.
And take inspiration, build something around it, and you can get started. So this is a field which has very good future.
Definitely. I mean, AI plus security is very booming. Like a lot of companies now, they are employing AI security engineer. So they have proper job post of AI security engineer. So you should know AI and security. And then on the research side also, like if you want to go on the research side, there is again a lot of demand of AI security researchers.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Apurv. It was wonderful talking as always. Please check out his work, take inspiration, read a lot of work of people in the world of cybersecurity, take inspiration, build something around it, and put yourself out there.
Definitely.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Thank you.